Okay, at this point, we've got the lyrics of our song down. We've got the chord changes at the right lyrics, and we're strumming without stopping. We're still only doing just straight down strums, nothing fancy, no crazy strumming patterns yet. We're trying to get those chords quickly. If you're struggling, getting this left hand to move quick enough, you're still going to keep strumming. Don't stop strumming. So we've also been focusing on, just chord progressions. We've been focusing on, maybe one or two lines of the song. Now it's time to sort of branch out. If you've been working strictly on, one or two lines within your song or one or two chord progressions, it's time to focus on maybe an entire verse of the song and really just work your way through that verse using the same techniques that we've already covered. Match those chord changes up to the lyrics. Start strumming constantly. If that's too hard, just back up, do one strum each. But what we want to start doing now is becoming more comfortable with the entire song, or at least start with, a verse at a time, or start with a chorus, and then once you get the chorus down, then get the verse. As you start getting these chunks of songs, you'll notice more patterns. You'll notice rhyming patterns, you'll notice lyrical patterns. Of course, you'll notice repeating chord progressions. And as you start doing that, everything will start to kind of sink in, and you'll start to actually feel more comfortable with the song itself. A couple of quick tips if you're having trouble with any of this stuff. One of the things you may want to try to do is pull up a recording of the song and try to play along with it. Now, it might be too fast for you, and that's okay. Try to keep up as best as you can. If you can't keep up with, really fast strumming, scale it back, just do one strum each, but really try to match up those chord changes to the lyrics like we talked about. Listening to the recording of the song also helps a lot if you're kind of having trouble finding out where those chord changes are. You can start to hear it, which will ultimately sound better and really help. You can also try using something like a metronome to keep the beat of the song. That really helps. I'm not a big fan of metronomes, but they are really helpful. And if you have one, you may want to try to get one, or you can get a metronome app on your phone, something like that. But it will help you kind of keep time of the song. You can try starting from an arbitrary part in the song. So instead of starting at the beginning of a verse, pick like a random spot in the middle of, the second verse of the song and start playing from there. And that sort of also reinforces and kind of helps hit home, how deeply you know that song. So if you can do all of that stuff, then you should be in really good shape. But you have the basics and you have the tools now to start singing and playing at the same time. Again, it takes a little while to get this sort of stuff. And I know that it's really frustrating. So the last tip that I want to share before we move on to some sort of more advanced techniques is just chill out a little bit. We're supposed to be having fun while we're doing this. We don't want to get too stressed out as we're trying to play and sing at the same time. I understand that it is difficult and that it can be challenging and it totally is frustrating, but in a lot of cases, we need to kind of calm down and not take it so seriously and not try to be perfect as we're doing this. It's funny, a lot of the students that I work with, the private students, I see they really start worrying about getting those chords perfectly down or making sure this hand doesn't stop moving, and they freak out about it. And then when I see them sort of relax and just kind of stop caring about getting it perfect, things start to come together and it starts to sound better. Now, they may make mistakes, and that's fine. Professional musicians make mistakes all the time. It's okay. That's kind of part of it. But the idea is that kind of embrace those mistakes and just keep going with it. Don't stop, just keep moving on. Don't worry so much about it. Just relax and chill out, try to have some fun with it as we're playing. It does take work, it does take effort, and it definitely takes a lot of practice and some time. But if you don't quite get it, that's okay. There's another chord progression coming and you'll get that one. It doesn't really matter. So try to relax as you're doing this too. Don't get too stressed out about it. Okay. So if you've got all that stuff down and you're starting to feel a little bit comfortable with it, we can move on to the next section where we can sort of talk about making the song sound smooth and sound clean and sound a little bit more professional. I'll give you some other tips to help you get there. I'll see you there.